behalf of the students and faculty at South Tattnall Middle School, we'd like to invite everybody today, and Dr. Williams, our superintendent, and Dr. Carla Waters, our assistant superintendent. Specifically, we'd like to welcome Superintendent Richard Woods and Ms. Paige Pushkin, who is the executive director of the Georgia Foundation for Public Education. We're going to do a quick presentation, kind of tell you a little bit about why we're here, how we got here, and then do a little, we're teachers, so we can't really let this opportunity go by without presenting it to you. And I called Ms. Pushkin a couple weeks ago. This is kind of new to us, so we were asking, what do we need to do? And she wasn't a whole lot of help because, I'm kidding, but she told us it went from anywhere from just a handshake to a full-blown presentation in front of a big audience, and food and no food. And so we found some middle ground with a little mini presentation and a thank you basket at the end. And so we're just going to share a little bit about our story. I was telling them before we got started that the room is a lot of the excitement behind the headsets, and it's kind of innovated from there and come a long way in a short period of time. So we've been looking for unique ways to reach our students. Things have changed a lot, and the kids, it's hard to get their attention sometimes. And so this room has become a collaborative environment where we're trying to put new things in front of them, and specifically with our literacy. So our SMART goal this year, one of them was to increase our number of students reading on grade level by 10%. And so we're looking for lots and lots of new ways to do that. And then today, in just a few minutes, we're going to share a math lesson that we did. So our 8th grade team is here today, our math department, and we're really proud of them. They are 27% above the state average on level 3 and 4 learners. So not only are they above the average, they're well above it. And so we're a tight-knit group here, and we work really, really well. And so they've done some unique things trying to build that literacy even within our math department. So in just a few minutes, we're going to share a math lesson with you and see how we're doing some of these neat cross-curricular activities.
And so they've been great at taking all the training that we provide with the literacy strategies and trying to think about how you can embed that in math. And I'm just personally so grateful because I'm an ELA teacher.
So Ms. Altman, I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce her. Ms. Altman's here today. She is actually a big part of all of this. She wrote a majority of the grant. We wrote it together. So very tech savvy this school is, and specifically Ms. Altman. So late at night I'd be at my house and she'd be at hers, and we're using a shared document trying to come up with the wording on exactly what we were trying to get across. And once again, Ms. Pushkin even asked for some clarification on it, and we were really adamant about how we think it's going to work. And so what we're trying to do is bridge these gaps that the students have. They're using virtual reality, they're using gaming, they're using all kinds of different tools. And so we're trying to bring that here with some of the tools that we already have in this innovation station. We are in the first year of a 3-year process of trying to become a STEM certified school. And so this isn't, we purposely didn't call it a STEM lab. It's not a STEM lab. We have another room that we use for our STEM students. This is truly an innovative place. So we do a lot of math lessons, science lessons. Once a month, our social studies and the ELA team come in here and do some cross-curricular activities. So trying to get the kids excited about it and really work towards bridging that gap and getting them excited about what they're learning.
Particularly because, if we're in a rural area and we do have a high percentage of our students on free or reduced lunch, when it was not free. And so we try to think about how can we bring the experience to them, because obviously they can't go. So we're trying to bridge that economic and geographic gaps with just our kids that they may be from middle class, but they don't have the access as well.
So like she mentioned, one of the things that we're trying to get them experience with even our narrative writing and reading and writing is that a lot of times our kids don't have the opportunity to go and visit some of these other places, see the things, smell the things. And so we're trying to bring that to them here. And in a few minutes, you'll be able to see what they're able to experience with these headsets so they can write about it. I mean, they may not have visited it, but if we can put them in front of it, let them experience the space station or the Coliseum, and so that they get a lot different hands-on experience through the headsets then maybe they'll be able to recall that information when they go to put it down on paper, and when they're reading it, they can experience it. So the teachers are really good about putting something in front of them, setting up a station and letting them move to it, let me experience it, and then let me come back and write it. So as an 8th grade ELA teacher, that's what they do. So the social studies teacher will come up here and teach a lesson about the American Revolution, and they're talking to them about it, and then they're going to come over here to a station and see an actual reenactment. And that was loaded into them, and then Miss Altman's over there walking through. What do you see? How do you interpret that? And then getting them to go and write about it.
They actually had to do research on battle formation during this time period, so they compared the experience to the actual research. So, but I wanted to just stress the connection between background knowledge and comprehension. So the kids come to us and they can read, right? They're decoding the words, but there's this issue sometimes with understanding. And that's because of a word deficit or an experience deficit. So that's really what we hope that these headsets can help us offset.
So, and we make sure it's purposeful for all the students. And so it's not, and once again, I'll reiterate that it's not a STEM lab. So the kids, like I said, the 8th grade, all of the 8th graders will be in here today. When we do the cross-curricular activity, all of the students will come in here throughout the day, and they'll come in here twice with the ELA department and with the social studies. So at a minimum, the kids will come in here and use the headsets, the space, twice a month, and in often cases even more. We have it designated on our Google Calendar where the teachers can sign out the room when the days it's not being used for the cross-curricular activities. So we're really excited about the kids who are coming really savvy with it. Like mentioned before we get started, we did partner up with the Glennville Bank and a local bank organization right here, and they were really excited about some of the things that we had going on. And these are obviously pretty expensive items, and so they sponsored one set of them, and they gave us 8. So about $3,300 will buy 8 of them. And then that's where the matching grant from the Rural Foundation that we're able to buy the second set of them to give us 16 of them, which still, even though it's not a full class set, we use them at stations and shared partner stuff, and so we're able to really still utilize them even in a set of 16.
And so we're really excited again about how the teachers have just really been enthusiastic about using it in their classrooms, because we wanted to emphasize those 2 things. Experience and excitement. That's what we're trying to bring. So I just wanted to share some of the things we've already done since we've had them, to include an exploration of the Mayan civilization to create sensory language and writing. We also, as he mentioned, did the Revolutionary War battle sequence where they compared and contrasted actual research to the experience. And our math teachers today are taking a look at the space station so that they can calculate the volume of those. We also had our 6th grade come in and they did a simulation of flight. Actually, it was just a video still, but it was panoramic, 360. And so they were able to connect to a character experience, because frankly, a lot of our students will not ever get to experience that, what it's like to be on an airplane. And so finally, with our STEM initiative, we have our exploratory coming in, and so they were doing a STEM project and they were able to evaluate some bridge architecture so that they can think about their own design.
So not only did these have, this was really unique, and I was just showing our Superintendent, Dr. Williams, before you guys got started, and if we have time today, I'd love to show you that aspect of it too. So not only do we have the still shots, immersing ourselves underwater or at the Coliseum, there's videos in there as well, and there's built-in lessons, but there's also a ARC part of it where the experience actually pops up and turns it into a 3D model. So back there I have it set up where there's a skeleton that comes up out of the paper, a full human skeletal setup, so that you can spin it around and manipulate it so that you can see more in depth what you're actually viewing. So it turns things into 3D reality where they can look at it, whether it's a heart or a cell, get a little bit different experience, so it actually comes up out of the paper. And then, like I said, we'll show you in just a minute how within seconds we can push out different experiences to the headsets. And what makes these unique and what we're really excited about is a lot of times you'll see the virtual reality headsets where it's the goggles and you have to put your cell phone in there. We completely control everything that the kids see. So they can't be off task, because that's one of the things that you always have to worry about is what are they looking at in there? And I can't even tell, but what we can do is hook up the other computer and show you. So when we push it out and want them to look at something, we can see what they're looking at. We can see the little goggles going around and say, okay, let's concentrate back over here to the left, so we can see on the screen what they're viewing in their headsets, because it's truly 360. So they can be looking at the pyramids and somehow be looking at this guy over here taking a picture and not be concentrating on what we want them to talk about. So it's really unique. So and then you can set it up to where they can pick from a couple of different areas where if there's going to a station, but you completely control it through the portal of the headsets, and so you can push it out to certain headsets or you can push it out to all of them, and we'll show you that in just a second.
The teacher in me has to ask, does anybody know the reference to dwelling possibility? Where does that come from? Emily Dickinson. Sorry, I just had to put my yellow plug in there.
All right, and like I said, the teachers and all of us can't help it, so we've got a little mini lesson. I'm going to ask the 8th grade teachers to come up real quick and kind of tell you a little bit about what you see in front of you.
Hi, my name is Beth Peary. I'm an 8th grade math teacher here at South Tattnall Middle, and this is Michelle Miller. What we did was we just taught a lesson in a whole unit on calculating volume of three-dimensional shapes, cylinders, cones, and spheres. And we're at the end of our 9 weeks, and we were thinking, how can we culminate this project? And we had this article that I had from a couple of years ago about the space station, and it's on page 8. This article on page 8, it's called At Home in the Sky. So this morning, we brought everybody in, and everybody sat down, and we had talked about a jot and go strategy during one of our grade level meetings where a teacher had presented this strategy on literacy. And so I thought, well, let's do this ACE writing activity. So every student had this paper, and we talked about some of the vocabulary that they may not know. Like in the article, one of the vocabulary words was cupola, and a lot of people don't know what that is, and so we talked about those vocabulary words, and how cupola is a dome-shaped, a dome on top of a roof or a structure. And then we discussed the question that they would be focusing on, and you'll see on this worksheet that we created, discuss the function and purpose of the International Space Station. So I asked the students this morning before we started reading to think about that question as we read through the article. And so I took a few minutes and we read through this article together. And I kind of stopped along the way and discussed the article with them and discussed the different aspects of living in space and how they thought about it. And one of the things I noticed, it says, the International Space Station is called the ISS, and I was like, you guys have a different connotation for ISS. But we're referring to the International Space Station, so we kind of talked about that. And then after this article was finished, when we turned the page, there's the volume aspect of it. And so each of the modules that have been added to the International Space Station by countries around the world are cylindrical in shape. And they were able to use our volume formula that we've been working with to calculate the volume of each module, whether it was Russia or Japan or whatever country had added that module to the International Space Station. So that's what they were asked to do. They were asked to create a response using the ACE strategy from ELA.
And they have already used the ACE strategy. That's what they use in their ELA classroom. So we use the same strategies that they use and familiar with. So, because my strong suit is not writing. So I know as long as they are something they're familiar with, then we can just pick out the information, make sure they have what we're looking for, but we know that they're writing it in the correct format.
So then they completed with a partner, they completed the volume problems on page 11 and wrote the answers on the page, and then did the back, which was an extension activity about other types of cylinders in space. And after the literacy portion was over, Mrs. Miller.
All right, so as they were working on, as we did the read aloud and the jot and go stuff together as the group, so she did the read aloud, then as they started doing their calculations of the volume, that's when we pulled in the virtual reality headset. So I would take a small group at a time and would come over there and experience what it's like to be on the space station modules. So we actually I did some research and found some of the virtual reality videos that I could use, and then actually Dr. Smith actually pulled them and put them into the virtual reality headset class VR, so they could actually experience the exact modules that we were finding volume on.
So obviously, it's hard for us to be able to go and take them to a space station and actually, you know, get inside to see it. And kind of, you know, we talked about volume, like, you know, the volume, does it feel very small? Does it feel large? You know, you actually have that experience to see what it's like to actually be in one. And so we did that. We actually, I think it was 4 of them that we have downloaded. So some that they're actually doing the calculations. Once they have the calculation and the volume for that specific module, then they can select it on the virtual headsets and actually see what that would feel like to
So
be
on
in
page
there.
11, you'll see the different, there's one called the Destiny, the Tranquility, the Beam. Those 6 are different, that's the name of the module. And we were able to find actual video of 4 of them on the inside.
So if
of what
you
they
want
look
to
like.
pick up your virtual reality headsets,
They have the trouble.
You don't have to strap them on if you don't feel comfortable.
now you
with
can
it,
just push
or
them to your
you wanna
face
hold it
if
up.
you want to.
You do have to keep it to your face though,
It
or
will
otherwise it
black
will
out.
black out, so. you have to-
All right, so when you put it up to you, I'll kind of go through experience with you, which ones we're going to look at. So we can look at the same ones together. So when you put it up, let's
Does
see.
everybody see a space station, first of all?
Okay, so is everybody
If you do not
inside?
see a space station, raise your hand and I will come and troubleshoot
I
with
think
you.
they're all.
Alright,
Are they all in the
good.
same
Yeah,
one?
they're all the same.
Okay, so y'all are all in the same one. So, when I had my groups, I actually let them, we talked about a specific one and we would select that one and look at them. So they could look at different ones. So right now, let's see, what does it say?
Get up and move
You're
around.
this
Pages
guy,
have a lot of
yes, you
fun
can.
out here.
This is amazing.
And so, let me tell you this too,
Yeah.
if you'll tilt your head, if you kind of look forward and just tilt it left or right slowly, that's how you can pan. So you can pan all the way around you just by tilting your head left or right slowly. You just slowly tilt it left or right. That's how you can
This-
pan all the way around. the
This
room.
particular space station, this is actually, this is a display that is at the Children's Museum in Indianapolis that kids can actually go into. This is, the one that you guys are looking at is not the actual space station.
Yeah, let us figure out taking a picture of it. How did he get this thing?
Okay.
I'm gonna change it on you, so.
So he's gonna change it to, okay. So these are the one, this is one of the ones that they actually, found the volume of, this particular cylinder module. So they're able to, once they calculate the volume, then actually see
Y'all
what it's
wanna
like to stand in there.
Y'all got
Got
to see.
extra headsets?
Yeah, that's see. And they found, the kids really found this interesting that the computer was up in the sky when they were trying to, it does.
yeah.
Some of them can, some students will like look at one and like, okay, I'm good, and then some would want to see all 4 of them. So it's just depending on.
I mean, there is
some
a
people
little
get
bit
kind
of issue with emotion.
Yeah, it can get motion sick.
If you're really tense.
Once you get used to it too, and that's why it's so unique, because you can do it sitting or standing, you can just, by tilting your head, move yourself all the way around the room. And then there's even a
Would you
button on
like
the
to try?
side that you can zoom in, but,
Oh, yeah. We had, some students would get around and walk around and try to, it was funny, like some of the students would actually pick their leg up like they were about to step on something. It's pretty entertaining watching them do it too.
and now I'm gonna show you one more, it has nothing to do with the space station, because it's really, really clear, but, so these are ones that they uploaded, and they're not always quite as clear, but they do the job, and so it's limitless. We can take any kind of JPEG file or MP4 and make a video out of it, or that, and then they have preloaded ones, so I'm gonna take you to the Roman Coliseum. And then you can kind of see how sometimes they're a little bit more clear, the videos can be a little bit more clear depending on the
It depends
quality
on
of it.
The stills are clear, and of course, when it's in class VR, it's clear as well.
So it's just really neat to be able to show the kids, say, there used to be a floor there, and underneath the floor is where they held the animals and the prisoners and the different people that used to come up and fight the gladiators. And so them being able to see it in a current day situation compared to a video and experience that is pretty neat. And now, we didn't do the videos because they take a little bit longer to download, so we want to use still pictures, but there are also a lot of videos where there's sound, the headsets have sound, and you can hook up a headphone to it if you want it to be quiet, but then it will take you a tutorial to walk you through. If you look to your left, you'll see this and right, and kind of like having a personal tour guide. So there are also videos as well.
Have you seen those, like, all of the, I guess, different advancements, like, they're actually training people now with this technology, like doctors and engineers, so it's amazing, really.
And you can see
possibilities.
a couple of our the boss back there has it still on, so she's still walking around. But you can see, and I can click it, I can hover over it, and I can see that,
You can track who's.
yeah.
who's there.
So I can tell her, hey, if you'll look a little bit further over to your right, you'll see this, or you'll experience that. So, yeah, it's pretty neat.
Are you guys like, maybe put in the application, are you doing like a survey, like determining like interest? Because I think it would be so interesting for like to determine if you even just having this like personal desire.
Right.
You know?
And I think we'd have to measure the data output to really kind of reflect that.
Yeah. She, and that concludes, so we'll take some questions. That was a really good question that Ms. Pushkin asked. Once again, I'll reemphasize that the teachers are really, really savvy. So we do survey the kids on a lot of things. So for example, at the end of the year, as our new STEM initiative, we have a 6th grade group. They're the first cohort that's going through it, but the 7th and 8th grades have experienced it too. They took a survey at the end of the year to try to determine if they would be interested in these kinds of things. And so there is a group of 7th and 8th grade that's an interest-based cohort that do get to do STEM activities. But yeah, we do survey them, so they do give us some feedback. We haven't done one yet on this because this is all kind of
Actually,
something.
I have asked, we know, because we've already been at Innovation Station twice with our school improvement initiative with the social studies teachers, and we've done VR both times. So I have asked them what their favorite aspect was, and it's it. So, yeah, it's really cool.
They love to take these or the Chromebooks and go to our tiered seating over here, and they'll curl up and they go to work. So it's fun to watch.
Students like today that typically are not necessarily math students, they are not too excited. I mean, they were actually, them finding and calculating the volumes of these things, they were just working just as hard as they could because they wanted to be able to experience, so it's funny how some of them that don't typically want to work, they really enjoy stuff like this, so they work harder for it, they really.
That
But that-
excitement piece is what I think
Yes.
also engages them. So, as you mentioned.
So that's the end of the presentation. Like I said, if any other questions, we'd be happy to show you some more of the examples of the headset features back there. That was just a really quick one, and we're learning too. I think we've done a good job, as Ms. Peary mentioned, I think earlier at our grade level meetings, our teachers are really, really on top of this, and so they'll present stuff. So the ELA teacher will present a jot and go, and then last week, I think Ms. Altman presented to them how to use the headsets. So they become quick savvy with it, and right off the bat, and I thought it was interesting to show math. Math is really not even our target group, but they've taken it and learned how to get into it with the literacy too. So the emphasis of it was still the writing and experiencing.
Build background knowledge, STEAM, so we can connect that to comprehension, so.
Do you have any concerns about damage to them and replacing them and all that kind of stuff? Because doing that would be $4,500.
Yeah, they are expensive, and we didn't do that. There is some warranty issues, or the company does provide. They're really, really good. We've seen so far of the educational use, they've been the best one that we were able to find.
Great.
I will say that the kids here, not that we don't have one or two that would try something like that, but they're so used to handling the Chromebooks and understanding that that they have the opportunity to use these things and utilize them. But most of the times, wherever we have them set up, they're not just taking them and going somewhere, and that's why we do ask for them to stay seated with them, so they're not walking to a different place with them. If we're going to have them at the tiered seating over there, we already have them for them, and they just go to them and they don't take them anywhere. So, and that's why I was trying to get you guys to see the tilt, because we don't want them up walking around doing a whole lot. If they do, it's in a small specific area right there where I think Ms. Altman had a
They
group
did
of them.
mention to me that their feedback was, hey, we need to go to the gym, like in a larger area, so we can move more. I'm with them, I'm like, that sounds good.
But our experience today, they've done really well with them, taking care of them and just putting them back on the table when they finish. But I did have 2 students that were all trying to go, and they bumped their headsets. But I mean, for the most part, they're really excited about it. So they want to take their own stuff and use them. That was just a little fluke. They were both excited, going opposite ways and bumped right into each other. So it's,
Well, I guess for you as teachers, plus, minus, you have to look at for this. What do you see the pluses and?
I think that, I'm excited that we can get them excited about some of the stuff we talk about. Because sometimes it's really hard in math, of course, to take these math concepts and get them to see the real world application. And I think that this was a great example. and that we can show them, okay, this volume stuff is very important. And I'm hoping that we can use it in some of the linear equations and things that are coming, that algebra part. And I'm already looking and hoping to find some ways that we can apply it. That was my concern initially. I was like, how are we gonna do this in math? But it worked out really well. So.
It's about the experience.
Yes,
about the experience.
And then they can relate it to their living space too. They can kind of think, once they saw the different modules, then they can think about, okay, this volume compared to, I wonder what my volume is in my bedroom or something. Just try to just kind of compare it and relate it to something like that and to their real life, everyday experiences.
As far as negatives, I don't really see one. For us, I think I try in my classroom always try to bring in real world examples about all kinds of things, and I think.
As far as a negative, I think one thing you alluded to was trying to find the material.
That's true.
And anytime you have a new technology, then sometimes it takes a little bit to catch up. I mean, you have some resources, but now you're looking at what, is it something you create as teachers or something there? Because I guess, can you take any picture and just...
So the great thing, that's a really good point. And so the teachers are so used to now creating all their own stuff. We don't, obviously don't have we don't even use any textbooks here at all. And so they're always creating their own resources. So she's pulling it up, but the 4 that you guys were looking at, the space stations, those were all taken from, and our media space is really good at this too. She took them and put them in the format they needed to be in, and then put them on the program. So the program has a bunch of stuff, and she's showing you some sample lessons that are already all built in. But it's limitless to anything that you want to bring in from the outside, as long as you can put it in the format needed. So our science teachers were doing roller coasters, and they were bringing them through the physics of that. And so they got to experience the roller coaster ride and do that kind of stuff. So anything they can think of, they can take pictures from a family trip and bring them in and upload them and show them somewhere that they went. Or a kid could bring them and let them, the other kids see where I went on break.
And that's how we got to where Miss Miller's the one that she went online and searched for those videos. Because those modules that you looked at were things that she found and asked Miss Smith to upload.
Well, I know I've seen in different settings, such as the roller coaster. I mean, you can sit and kind of close, we can put on the virtual reality goggle. I mean, you turn left and right, and you're up on the screen machine or whatever. And that's where I think it's just trying to find what resources are out there. I mean, you have obviously a company that has this, and I'm thinking, well, how much do they invest, or is this something they're catching up? I know I've seen, these, for our young people in video games. So this seems to be the latest craze as well with that. So I think resources and availability is something that just seems to take time to.
And this day and age, it happens fast. I'll show you one more quick thing on this. So this is the portal where you pull it from, and they pull their lessons. But the class VR right here is where the built-in lessons. But then if you click on community, this is where the teachers are sharing amongst each other. So there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of lessons where the teachers from other places and other countries. And this headset actually, and it's unique because it's other countries, because these actually originated in Great Britain. The company is out of England. So that's why you'll see some of the silly names that are on top of them that they've been named. But so these right here are real quickly are from the community that people, other teachers have shared. So
So it's video and still.
Video, still pictures.
And augmented reality too.
Yeah,
It pops up.
I wish I could show you that, because that's a whole nother level.
Well, they can.
Yeah, well, I know in fact, I just came from school earlier today where they have the 3D on the screen.
Holographic.
Yeah,
You're really expensive one.